Welcome to the Jim Show with your host, Jim. I am exhausted. Hi. So I think my message for today is that if you feel like the world is totally crazy and makes no sense to you, like if you look at a newspaper or you watch some television or you look at some sporting event or any number of things that a lot of the populace is still really into, and you think this doesn't make any sense. Or like going to school to spend a bunch of money and a bunch of time to get a piece of paper, and then it doesn't offer you anything, potentially, right? It doesn't offer you a job, if you even want that. Or how about the whole idea of just having a job? Who wants to do that? If you look at these things that are considered normal in our society and you think this is crazy, you are not alone. That is my message. You're not alone at all. A lot of people are thinking that all of this is totally bonkers, insane, and just makes no sense. And it's changing. It's changing every day. It's changing at a faster and faster and faster rate. People are realizing that what we've been doing is totally insane and crazy. There's a shift, a massive shift going on. And the younger generation right now isn't playing any of these games. And the reason I think that is something I've heard from Cliff High and others, basically that the solar system is in a different part of the galaxy, and there's a different energy here. And so when these people were born, they were born into a totally different, higher frequency, perhaps, a different frequency. And so this story that, those of you like Gen Xers, the story that we were born into is not one that they're part of at all, if that makes sense. So I was thinking about it today as it's kind of like the zodiac, right? So, I'm a Scorpio, for example, and there's some characteristics that I supposedly have because of the time that I was born, right? So this is on a much bigger scale, right? This is a much larger cyclical thing that happens, right? A thing, very descriptive. But it's like the same idea. So this is a much longer, like a 10,000 year cycle. There's a 10,000 year ice age cycle, which seems to be aligning with this. It looks like we're going into an ice age here. It's also happening to be the awakening wave at the same time, which is good because we need, massive innovation, massive changes in order to, survive what's coming. Maybe not survive, but thrive during this time of challenge that's ahead. All this crazy. Have you noticed that the weather's insane? I'll tell you what, it's not a man-made issue. We don't have the ability to screw stuff up on this planet that much, despite what you may think about how awesome humans are and how much control we have in the world. We just simply cannot do that. It's the sun, right? And our location in the universe at this moment, or in the galaxy. So really, the point is, you're not alone. This is happening all over the place. If you look in the alternate media, if you look anywhere, people, do you look at mainstream media anymore? Do you watch it and just think, what are these people talking about? Like this American Heart Association thing about coconut oil being bad for you. Like, it's obviously ridiculous and silly, and what? I don't know who they think they're joking anymore with this stuff. Like, I personally can't even watch the mainstream news on television anymore because it's just so silly, laughable, ridiculous, like so obviously just talking points, just nonsense, complete and utter nonsense. I can't watch any of it So maybe that's how you feel too. Like, you look at this stuff, you're like, what? What am I even looking at? Right? Or like the articles in the newspapers, anything, any of that corporate owned media, just silly, all of it's silly. The whole thing is just ridiculous. And so people were just ignoring it. I just ignore it. Everybody's ignoring it. Everybody. Not everybody. Most people aren't, still. But they're starting to, right? It's happening. I run into people all the time, more than I ever have. For a really long time, I tried to spread the word, right? Be an evangelist for how messed up things were. And I was like, this is not useful, because people don't want to hear this. They're not ready to hear this. It's not the time for them. And trying to convince them of that, it does not work, right? They experience cognitive dissonance. They get rather angry because you're basically attacking their identity, their ego, their story. And it's pain, right? It's a painful thing, as we've talked about before, to release that story. And so if someone's like trying to force you into releasing their story, it doesn't work. But now people, more and more, naturally, falling into that, releasing all this stuff. Or like I said, these younger generations never even had it in the first place. So, yeah, I think we're in a really amazing time. You're not alone if you're feeling this way at all. This is happening. It only takes, I think they say, 2% of a population to start feeling a different way about something in order to jumpstart the rest of humanity into that new mindset. Basically, if you get a core 2% of people thinking a certain way, it just starts spreading really, really quickly from there. So it doesn't take many people at all to change the whole world, and we're there. It's happening. It's obvious that everything is totally changing, and it's really exciting. We're blessed, to be here. We chose to be here right now in this time to experience this, to learn about ourselves. During the most amazing time probably for a millennia, so I'm excited to be here with you, whoever you are watching this. If you're watching this, you're watching it for a reason, right? There's no coincidence. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, your ideas of what we can do to keep building the future and moving forward. And I'm obviously very tired, so I hope this was interesting. I'll see you tomorrow.